Welcome to Layer the Alchemist, where we discuss all things heavy metal and hard rock. On today's episode, the results from my community poll questions. About a week ago, I put up 4 questions in the community section of the Layer the Alchemist YouTube homepage, and people could pick one of 5 possible answers, and we're going to talk about those results today. So thank you to everybody who participated. I really appreciate it. It was very interesting. I'm going to give you my answers. I wasn't able to vote, I guess because I set up the poll. So I'm going to give you my answers and my thoughts on the answers that everybody gave. So this was a lot of fun and really interesting. The first question was, how much music do you usually buy a month? A vinyl, CD, etc. This got 307 votes. 7 to 9 albums a month got 4%. 10 or more got 13%. 4 to 6 got 20%. None got 22%. And 1 to 3 got 41%. This one I would have fallen into 1 to 3%, especially now. In like the last year or so, I've sort of cut back on how much I buy. Now, there are times when I go into a used record store. I haven't been there in a while. Maybe I find a bunch of used stuff and I could walk out with 10, or more records. But I would say on average, if I averaged it out in a typical month, I'm buying 1 to 3 albums. Back when I first started, I was buying probably 10 or more a month. I was probably buying 15 to 20 albums a month because I was buying a lot of used stuff. And I guess I could have been a little more specific with this question and said new versus how much new stuff do you buy, how much old do you buy. Maybe that'll be a future poll question. I was surprised that none got 22%. I guess when people say none, maybe they mean like streaming, YouTube, or maybe they just have everything they want and they don't really buy much new stuff. So, all right, next, how much music do you listen to on an average day? This got 335 votes. 0 to 1 hours, 10%. 3 to 4 hours, 15%. 5 hours or more, 16%. 2 to 3 hours, 26%. And 1 to 2 hours, 33%. So this one, some people commented like I work from home or I have a job where I'm listening to music all day long. I guess this one is hard to judge because it does depend on your circumstances. Like I'm at home, so I'm probably in the 3 to 4 hour range, if not on average. Sometimes more, maybe sometimes a little bit less. But like, for instance, I go for walks every day. I listen to, that's an hour of music there. I listen to right before I go to bed to help me fall asleep. During the day I'm listening. I could have been more specific with the question, how much focused listening do you do? Because I have music on when I'm cleaning up around the house. I'm running the vacuum cleaner and stuff. And so that I'm not really paying a whole lot of attention. But, when I'm in my car, I spend almost an hour in my car every day. I'm listening to music there. So some of it, I guess, depends on your circumstances. On the weekends, I probably listen to maybe a little bit less because I tend to be out doing things with the family and stuff like that. But I would say I do listen to quite a bit of music, so I'm probably in the 3 to 4 hour range. So I wasn't surprised, though, that 1 to 2 hours for somebody who maybe can't listen to music at work or something like that. Maybe they're listening in their car, they get home at night, they maybe sit in their music room and listen to an album or two or something like that. All right, next, what is your favorite format to listen to music on? This got 370 votes. With these questions, I can pick up to 5 possible answers, so I thought I would throw in 8-track. Unfortunately, 8-track got 0% of the vote. I thought maybe there'd be somebody out there that was an 8-track collector. Cassettes got 1% of the vote. I know I have a subscriber out there, Cassette Mayhem. Was that you that did vote? I thought the cassettes would get a little bit more because I hear people talk about cassettes on here, and I know for the age group, a lot of us, like in my age group, grew up with cassettes. So I thought maybe there were still some people that gave cassettes some love, but I guess not. Streaming internet MP3s got 24%, vinyl got 30%, CDs got 45%. I was a little surprised, I guess because I watch a lot of vinyl community YouTube channels, and a lot of my friends that I talk to regularly are also vinyl collectors. So in my mind, I thought that vinyl was gonna win out. But I'm not totally surprised again, because I know from the comments when I've done videos about vinyl, I do hear a number of people say, well, that's why I just listen to CDs, or I only buy CDs, or maybe they say I buy mostly CDs, I buy occasionally, I buy vinyl. Now for me, I would say at least 2/3 of my listening is on vinyl. But on busy days, you know, a big chunk of my listening does come from streaming. When I'm out walking around, I'm streaming. In my car, I tend to listen to CDs or streaming. Sometimes when I'm just doing things around the house, I got to do something out in the garage, I'm streaming, you know. So I guess in an ideal situation, maybe if I had speakers all over my house or something, I would just listen to vinyl when I'm in my house. But even with all that said, if I picked one, I would still pick vinyl. That does get the bulk of my listening. Next, what is your favorite decade for hard rock? And this is the last one. What is your favorite decade for hard rock and heavy metal? This got 394 votes. This one was a little hard to word. I think I maybe should have broken it up with, because a lot of people did leave comments, and I agree with this, that said, well, if I just picked hard rock, I would have picked 70s. If the question was just heavy metal, I would have picked 80s. And I agree with that. Me being only able to pick one, I would have picked the 70s, because I think that there was still a lot of great metal in the 70s, but the 70s was the era for hard rock. So the 2000s and beyond, 0% of the vote. The 90s, 4%. That surprised me a little. I thought that maybe the 90s would get a little bit more love. The 80s, 51%, and the 70s got 45%. So the 80s won with 51% of the vote. Not totally surprising, because, again, the 80s is sort of the big decade for heavy metal. So, and a lot of the fans, you know, I talk about metal a lot, and I know a lot of viewers out there, you're also metal fans. So again, sort of a tough question. I think if I had separated those two questions, I have a feeling the greatest era for hard rock would have been the 70s, and the greatest era for metal would have been the 80s. Okay, there you go. There's the results from the community poll questions. Thank you very much to everybody for participating. This was a lot of fun. Now, in the comments down below, I want you to give me some questions that I can put in for future polls, okay? So put some questions down below. If you want to put some options for answers, you can do that too. You can have 1 to 5 possible answers. I would say you need to have at least 2, right, for it to mean anything, but I guess it depends on the question. Who knows? So let me know, because I have some ideas. It can be anything. I think I'm going to run some poll questions that are maybe like more specific, like music related. For instance, pick your favorite singer, and I'm going to do a bunch of different bands that have had multiple singers. I may pick like which one of these is your favorite album from this band or something. Which one is the best debut album? Questions like that, or anything. And questions like the ones that we had here that are more about your listening habits, or you know, your how you can consume music, or how you view music. However you want to do it. Any questions, throw them down in the comments. I'll see if I can work them into the community poll questions section. All right, so thank you very much. Thanks again for everybody for participating. Until we see you again, make sure you stay heavy, stay metal.